Hey guys, I came on here because I want to tell my testimony once again. Somebody on YouTube inspired me to do it again. And by testimony, some of you won't know that I'm a Christian. I believe most of y'all would know by now. But we got some new subscribers, so I thought it was a good idea to share my testimony. Okay, I would like to start by saying this. Some of the things that I'm about to share with you, viewer discretion advised, okay? Because they're so unbelievable that it's hard for me to believe them, okay? The reason I believe them is because of what's happened to me and what I've seen with my own two eyes, okay? So this is going to be my story, no holds barred, right in front of your face. It's gonna be my journey, how I became a YouTuber, and how you guys know me as the one-handed gamer on this present day. First of all, I'd start by saying I've been a Christian since I was 3 years old. Second of all, I would say that for many of those years, Christianity did not mean much to me at all. It was just something that I was doing because that's what mom and dad did, okay? I was born in February of 93, that makes me 32, going on 33. And I just realized that that's about 20 years of being free, to be honest. That's crazy. That's about 30 years of being free from sin and all that. 30 years of being a Christian, guys. And I'm not going to be afraid to say it. So, whenever I got saved, like I said, I was just doing that because, it was a family thing. We all went to church, all that jazz. And I grew up in the church that I grew up in for 20 years. And the people I'm going to mention in my testimony, some of them don't like me or I'm not on the best of terms with them. But at this point, it's not because I'm angry with them. It's only because it's part of my story. So let me say this. If this video reaches some of those people, I'm not putting this out here because I'm angry with you. I'm putting this out here because it's part of my story, okay? I want to make that very clear. Fasting forward to about 18 years old. I was in high school and I discovered I had a knack for rap music, okay? If you go back far enough, you can find some of the old songs that I did here on YouTube. That was the original purpose of this YouTube channel. And now the gaming has overwhelmed it to the point that I might as well not go back, okay? So now it's a YouTube channel. But even so, it's a gaming channel. But even so, it's still a part of this channel if you go back far enough. And one day I was on the internet and I wanted to know if there was a Christian way to do rap music. And so I looked it up on YouTube, and some of these names you might be familiar with. I found Tripoli, I found Lecrae, I found Tedashii, I found all the mainstream Christian rap people. And I said to myself, you know what? I want to do this. I want to use my gift to glorify God. And I've recorded probably 14, 16 albums within the time that I was doing it, because I did it from the time I was 18 all the way till about 25 years old. I was an independent artist. I made my own beats. I did everything by myself. So essentially what I'm doing here on YouTube is taking my experience of how to create something independent from anyone else and put it out there where it's 100% you. In this particular case, I'm a YouTube gamer. I do all my editing by myself, okay? I do the posting, I do the editing, I do the thumbnails. Everything is done by myself from scratch, guys. I do have a couple templates that I build off of that I usually use from game to game, okay? But the building of the thumbnail itself is 100% by me. Now back to my testimony. That is why I'm able to do that, because I've been doing that my entire life. That's why I bring that up. But I started to record and write rap songs, freestyle rap. A matter of fact, I never written a song in my entire life, at least one that I recorded. Even on the albums that I recorded, it was 100% freestyle, 100% of the time. It began to become quite known for it. I was never on the level of Tedashii or Lecrae or Tripoli or whatever, but But I started to work with people that had record labels in their past or were currently signed to them. There's one guy in my past, his name was Spanish Fly, but his actual name was, I believe, what was his name? I'd have to look on Facebook because he's my friend on Facebook. But then there was a guy that I knew, his name was Shot Boogie. I'm sure some of you would know who that is because he was signed to Big Cats Records and all that. I'm assuming that was in his past before he became a Christian. And so yeah, rap became a major part of my life. It really did. It was my heart and soul. At the same time of Christ being my heart and soul. And one day I was sitting at work and God called me out of my job. The job that I was working. Some of you might recognize them from it if you're from Pennsylvania. If you're not, then you wouldn't. But some of the Pennsylvanians out here possibly might. But I used to work at one of those driver's license centers where you get your driver's license, etc., etc. It's crazy because even when I was in there, I would share the gospel of Christ with people. And I got in trouble multiple times for it. And they're like, oh, well, you're gonna get fired and whatnot else. Well, then a series of prophetic prophecies were given to me referring to a certain area of my life. And I kept asking God for signs. And he continually, I kid you not, he continually sent me people to verify what was being prophesied about me. Now, to keep this testimony short, I'm not going to go into the stories of that too much. Maybe I'll tell you a few, but I'm not going to do it too much. And so, fast forward to about 2017, August 26th or 7th of 2017, I actually prophesied COVID-19 and I did not realize that I had done that. So that's one story for you, but the story I want to get to is one day an old friend of mine called me and said, hey, do you want to do a conference call with a buddy of mine? And I'm like, okay, we can do that. And the next thing that this guy says is that you're in a wheelchair and I don't know what you have or what have you, but I can tell you one day before you die, you're gonna walk. And I never seen this guy in my entire life. This dude is on the other end of the phone and he's telling me things about me that I never told him. And then at one point when he's doing this, he says to me, he goes, you hear voices in your head when you pray. And I said, yeah, I have been hearing voices in my head when I pray since I was 18. Because what happened was when I came out of the waters of baptism at 18, because like I said, at age 18 is when I got serious with my faith, right? It became everything to me at age 18. And so I came out of the waters of baptism, and ever since I was hearing voices in my head when I prayed in response to what I was praying about. And this guy's like, oh, that's God or the devil, and you have to decide which one is talking to you. Well, then, long story short, I began to prophesy myself. I began to operate in the gift of word of knowledge. I would tell people things about their own lives that they never told me. And there's been a couple times where I even told my psychiatrist when they branded me as mentally ill, as it were, exactly what was going on in her life one day. And it just became kind of commonplace for things like that to happen to me. And I have stories that I'm not going to share on this video because it would not be right for me to share. However, just know that I have hundreds of stories like this. And long story short, this whole dedication to Christ, in a long story short, it's cost me everything. Almost brought me down to circumstantially, not like actual physical circumstances, but I'm going to use that so you understand how much was lost here. Circumstantially, in the sense that if I did not live in the studio apartment that I rent from my family, I would be on the street, guys. Like, I would be homeless. So at that point, I tried to find a job job, applied to 200 different places. Just denied, the whole shebang. And tried to get an agency's help, and out of the respect of the agency, I'm not going to say what agency, but I went and tried to seek help from the agency that got me the job at the licensor. And they told me, excuse me guys, and they told me that if they wanted I wanted their help, I had to play the game. You know, you can't share Christ with people in the workplace, blah blah blah, all that jazz. And so, you know, I played their game, and later they told me, well, you have to get this paper signed so that we know that you're fit to work, blah blah blah. And I had to take it to my psychiatrist for her to sign, okay? And so I take it there, and she's like, I can't sign this. And I remember saying to her, I said, why not? And she goes, because your disability is not mental, it's physical, okay? And so then I went and told my mom this, and long story short, she said, go tell her that I said she has to sign it, you know. And essentially, long story short, my mom put her foot down, and I was being my mom's voice box. It essentially is what this was. And at that point, she puts on the paper to send back to OVR that I wasn't taking the drugs. Now, keep in mind, before now, I've been drug-free and stable right in front of this woman, okay, for 2 years, alright? And she puts that I'm not able to work, yet she refused to sign the paper because my disability was physical, not mental, okay? So then OVR denied me, and I spent a few months asking God, you know, what am I supposed to do? I'm in a position where I can't do nothing no more. And illegally, I could do that because I can't walk. But I'm not like that. I want to make a living. I want to provide for myself. And I'm not going to say that God told me to set up this YouTube channel, because He didn't. Okay, setting up the YouTube channel was my idea. I love to play video games. I love to do all that. So I'm like, okay, let's turn my hobby into a job, right? Because again, at this point in time, my back's against the wall, okay? And I don't know where else to turn. So then back in 2020, that's when I started consistently posting on YouTube, recording game content, editing, all that jazz. But my very, very early videos were not edited whatsoever. Number one, because I didn't realize that that's what they were doing. But nowadays, I edit by myself. I do all that by myself behind the scenes. That's why I keep you guys posted, because I'm in the background working on stuff even though you guys can't see nothing. Alright? So, you know, it was not rapid growth, but we had some substantial growth from shorts and whatnot else. And I remember one day praying to the Lord, and I said, you know, I need to grow my channel because I need to work. And He said, give me a platform on your channel and I will cause it to grow. Okay? Now, I have not done this in a while because I've been in a bad spot with my faith, because I've been really struggling, you know, wondering if God's even there sometimes, because, you know, I went to school to be a minister. Yes, I'm actually somebody that should be in full-time ministry, and I can't because everybody thinks I'm mentally ill because of certain things that I prophesied back in 2020, okay? And that's why I'm a content creator in the first place. It's because I don't know where else to turn. I can't do nothing else. So anyway, back to what He told me about the YouTube channel. I started posting the verse of the day right on the YouTube channel, which I probably should get right back to that. Now that my faith is in a better place, I'm still not exactly where I should be, but, you know, I can feel that I'm in a better place since I blocked some people, and, you know, I'm not talking to people as much as I used to. I feel myself being in a better place. So I think we will start doing that. However, I started doing that, guys, and within 3 months, we hit 1,000 or something like that. I mean, it was crazy, and now we're up to 1,400 subscribers and 20. I mean, I can't take the credit for that, guys. I gotta give credit to God on that one, because I told most of you guys in the comments, you know, I appreciate the support you guys give, I really do, but I wouldn't have this platform if it wasn't for God's mercy and grace and power. I mean, He's the one that gave gave me the success on YouTube in the first place. And if me saying that causes you to unsubscribe, well, guess what? That's just too bad, because I'm not going to take the credit for this, guys. And I'm not going to deny it. My life becomes a life of Christ, and it belongs to Christ. Now, I have a lot of pain, and I have a lot of issues that I have to work through. But if there's one thing clear that will never change in my life, is that God is the one that gave me 1,000 plus subscribers. It's not me. It's God that did it. And He can have all the credit for that. Glory to God, and I'll be the first to admit it. Basically, that is my YouTube journey, guys. And if you guys want to ask me any more questions in the comments in regards to this, feel free to ask. Don't be afraid to ask, because, I'm not afraid to talk to you guys on how this actually happened. But for now, God bless you guys, and I love you guys, and stay prayed up. I know I'm trying to get back to where I was, and so I want you guys to do the same. God bless you guys. I love you guys so much. I can't say that enough. Thank you guys so much.